What's going on, you guys? I'm as always Mr. Grimreaper 512, and welcome again, everybody, to my channel, and welcome everybody back to Mob Week. Today, we're going to be looking at one of the most classic films in the history of cinema shot. Martin Scorsese's Martin Scorsese's cult classic, Goodfellas. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, I welcome you. And you're wondering, Grim, what is Back in Time? Well, Back in Time is a idea that I had to do old films and do old TV shows, and I will be doing old television shows very soon. But we're gonna be looking at this today. I'm gonna be doing a review for this for Goodfellas. Now, Goodfellas was directed by Martin Scorsese. It is based on a book called The Wise Guy by Nicholas Pileggi. The film stars Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci, Lorraine Bracco, and Paul Sorvino. I'm just messing those names up. Sorry. Okay, so let me see here. So yeah, just for reference too, there will be major spoilers. So if you have not seen this movie, which I'm shocked you haven't, because this movie came back in 1990. I'm surprised. Some of you may have not have seen this movie. Some of you are probably a little younger. But if I were you, I'd go pick this movie up, and it is very good. So we're gonna take a look. So this is my review for Goodfellas. Now, okay, so as you know, the film begins in 1955. Henry Hill, a high school student, becomes enamored with the criminal life in his neighborhood and begins working for Paul Cesaro and his associates, James Conway, a truck hijacker, and Tommy DeVito, a fellow juvenile delinquent. Henry begins as a fence for Jimmy, gradually working his way up to more serious crimes, enjoying the perks of their criminal life. The three associates spend most of their nights at the Copacabana nightclub, carousing with women. Henry meets and later marries Karen Friedman, a Jewish woman from the Five Towns area of Long Island. Karen is initially troubled by Henry's criminal activities, but is soon seduced by his glamorous lifestyle. In 1970, Billy Batts, a mobster in the Gambino crime family, repeatedly insults Tommy at a nightclub owned by Henry. Enraged, Tommy and Jimmy attack and kill him, knowing the murder of a made man would mean retribution from the Gambinos, which could possibly include Paulie being ordered to kill them. Jimmy, Henry, and Tommy cover up the murder. They transport the body in the trunk of Henry's car and bury it in upstate New York. 6 months later, though, Jimmy learns that the burial site is slated for development, forcing them to exhume the decomposing corpse and move it. 4 years later, when Karen discovers Henry has put Janice Rossi in an apartment, she tries to confront Janice. Then she threatens Henry at gunpoint, and Henry goes to live with Janice. Paulie insists he returns to Karen after completing a job for him. Henry and Jimmy are sent to collect a debt from a gambler in Tampa Bay, Florida. But they are arrested after being turned in by the gambler's sister, a typist for the FBI. Jimmy and Henry receive 10-year prison sentences. In prison, Henry sells drugs smuggled in by Karen to support his family on the outside. 4 years later, in 1978, Henry is paroled and expands his cocaine trade against Paulie's orders, soon involving Jimmy and Tommy, whose behavior becomes increasingly erratic. Jimmy organizes a crew to steal money from the Lufthansa vault in John F. Kennedy International Airport, coming away with $6 million. After a member of the crew buys expensive items and the getaway car is found by police, Jimmy has most of the crew killed. Tommy is spared Jimmy's wrath, but is eventually killed by the Gambinos in retribution for Bat's murder. We'll get to that later. Having been fooled into thinking he would become a made man. In 1980, Henry has now become a nervous wreck from cocaine use and insomnia, two things that don't mix. He tries to organize a drug deal with his associates in Pittsburgh, but he is arrested by narcotics agents and jailed. After he is bailed out, Karen explains that she flushed $60,000 worth of cocaine down the toilet to prevent FBI agents from finding it during their raid. He tries to organize a drug deal with his associates in Pittsburgh, but he is arrested by narcotics agents and jailed. After he is bailed out, Karen explains that she flushed this. No, I already read that. Henry decides to enroll in the witness protection. He gives sufficient testimony to have Paulie and Jimmy arrested and convicted, forced out of his gangster life. Henry now has to face living in the real world. In his final words of the narration, he describes himself as an average nobody. I get to live the rest of my life like a schnook. The end title cards reveal that Henry is still in the witness protection, and in 1987 he was arrested in Seattle for narcotics conspiracy, received 5-year probation. Since then, Henry has been clear after 25 years of marriage. Henry and Karen separated in 1989. Paul Cicero died in 1988 in Fort Worth Federal Prison at the age of 73 due to respiratory illness. Jimmy Conway is serving a 20 years to life sentence in a New York prison for murder that he would not be eligible for parole until 2004, when he would be 78 years old. Okay, so that's the movie. So that's the whole movie. There's a couple scenes in here that I like, that I winced at. When they're in the nightclub, you get this sinking feeling something's gonna go wrong. And Tommy, who is played by Joe Pesci, he has a bad temper. You get that sense during this whole movie. Tommy has a real bad temper, and this guy Billy Batts keeps insulting him over and over and over and over and over, to the point where Tommy wants to the main point where Tommy gets sick of it, and they just beat the hell out of this dude. They just beat the hell out of him like nothing. What I liked about this movie is that I liked how Martin Scorsese told the story. I like how Martin Scorsese put this whole thing together, from the visuals that we see, from the visuals to everything else. I believe that Martin Scorsese is a really, really good director, and I liked what they did. They told a story of they told the story of these three gangsters, going through a bunch of stuff in their lives, and surprisingly enough, this actually, when this came out, it received a lot of positive reviews, and there's a reason why. This film was so good This film was so goddamn good that um, they had to make it into a movie. Now, I've never read the book, Wise Guy, but I've heard it was a pretty good book. But, um, but this movie, yeah, I love the visuals. I love the death of Billy Bats. This dude couldn't shut up to save his life. This dude. I thought Billy Bats was an asshole, so I kind of enjoyed seeing him get his in the end. But you know, as far as everything goes, this movie was fantastic. Um, let's talk about the thing with what I talked about before when Karen was trying to tell him that um she I get what she was trying to do, but $60,000 worth of cocaine, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money to throw that in the toilet. And I know for the fact that Henry was pissed. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of stuff I liked in this movie, and I enjoyed it a lot. When I was watching this film, I loved the visuals. I love the story that it told. I love the other stuff that was involved with it as well. But this was a good movie, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. Like I would with any of these films. I enjoyed Robert De Niro's character, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci. These three dudes did a hell of a goddamn job in this film, and I enjoyed it. I know I keep saying that, but I enjoyed this film a lot. This was my dad's favorite film too. One of my dad's favorite films, and it completely shows. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and all that. That's gonna be it for me. I'm Mr. Grimreaper, and I'm gonna give you guys another review here in a little bit. That's it for Back in Time. I'm Mr. Grimreaper, and I'll see you all in the afterlife. Peace.